Hey, okay people, Sean Stewart here. Welcome back to the Organized Chaos Carpentry Shop. We're about getting down to the basics in the trade. Stuff tradespeople wish they knew before they got started, and some stuff to help you around your home. Today, Dave joins me in the shop. Dave's been working with students in our shop for quite a while now. Dave, how long have you been with our students?
About 3 years now.
3 years with our students, just showing them his craft. Today, he's coming in to show us a little bit about butt joints. And what one did you want to start us off with?
Well, let's start with the simple one, a nail joint. Or,
okay.
Or staples, but nails.
I would use this one a lot because I'm typically, a lot of the work I do is framing, and so nailing a 2x4 together is a butt joint on any wall that I would do or anything. That would be a typical butt joint. And so what would you use that for?
I would use it primarily with narrowhead staplers, and I would do it for a door casing. It's quick, it's easy, and it's very strong. And once you get door jamb, I apologize, for a door jamb. And then once you get the casing on, it's pretty much locked into place.
Cool. What else do you got for us today?
I have a glue joint, which is used with speed glue, which is I use miter bond. You can get 2P10. There's a whole bunch of other companies out there, and it's a two-part. You put on the glue on one side, then you spray the accelerator on the other side, and you hold it in place. If it's new, it goes in about 10 seconds or quicker. And what you end up, you got to be careful you don't get your fingers stuck on it.
So this type of glue basically works as a clamp for you then?
It works as a clamp. I use this system right here. If I did this and made a little thing, it made another L, put it together, I could take my router and I could cut a rectangle of a given size with my template plunge router.
Okay, yeah. Thinking probably in your end of things like trim work and stuff, you could put glue and nails together, right?
Yes, you would use a yellow glue. If you got the nails, you're holding it, you would use the yellow glue because it's stronger. This stuff has a limit to its strength just because it dries hard.
I know when I'm doing framing, sometimes I'm using nails, but I also do use screws like on decks and stuff. Yep. Did you do any of that?
Yeah, we did screws. We did two different screw joints. One would be similar to yours, which is a flush bit. That would what you would do on a deck.
Except for the joists and stuff.
For the joists, like this piece would actually not be this way. It'd be longwise, and this would be like a deck board, and you would screw it down in the same place. I did one that was a plug screw head, which you could use to make a quick little keepsake box or anything if you're limited on your tools. My little countersink and several countersinks will sit there and go a certain size, like a 1/2 inch on mine in case. And then you can buy plugs, or you can get, Lee Valley makes a tapered plug set, which I use, and you sit on your drill press and you make a batch of plugs. And
so this just hides the screw, essentially? It
hides the screw, and if you had, like, say you had a nice piece of wood like this, and if we had a nice piece of walnut in there or something, well, even this is a contrasting wood, right? So it gives some decorative appeal to the piece.
What's next?
Next is a spline joint, which I cut this on the table saw earlier. It was off camera, unfortunately for you guys, but I cut a spline. I cut a couple of splines, and what you can do is I cut this on the table saw also, and you can use it when you're putting pieces together. You do that if you're making a tabletop or a cutting board, and that would stabilize the top. I ended up putting it at 90 degrees, which you could use if you're making a door or a small, like a cabinet door or something like that, and it makes it a strong joint. I've used it on miters, like if I'm using a cap on a knee wall that's surrounded, and the corner it's too big for another fastener, but you need that knot to move. This won't move rather than two pieces.
That seems like a lot of work, though.
Yeah, years and years ago, a company in Germany called Lamello developed what's called a biscuit. And a biscuit comes in different sizes, and it's a compressed wafer. And it has a specialty tool with a little circular saw blade that plunges into the wood. And then you can do butt joints. You can use it for making shelves. And they also have special release fasteners and everything. There's a whole slew of stuff you can do with the biscuit joint. You have got to make money. This is the cheaper way to go because you're not spending a lot of time prepping stuff.
So it's taking what was the spline and upgrading like the amount of time that it takes to get you to the biscuit then.
Yes, because I had to set up the table saw exactly, and then I had to make sure that this was the exact same size as the groove.
What else do you got for us here today?
Again, I don't have an example of it, but you know, a lot of these machine tools come from stuff that is used, you know, 200 years ago, like the splines used to. You know, there's something called a mortise and tenon joint, which you may have seen, or you can just Google it from here, but those take time. Then a company called Festool came up with what's called Dominoes, which is a loose tenon, and I used to make little loose tenons like this. Again, I just buy these, and the tool has got a bit similar to this, a little bit smaller obviously, and it goes in and makes a slot for it. You plug it in. Unfortunately, the wood was a little thinner than what the bit I had. I could have changed out the bit, but you can see that it poked through. But you can see that the tenons came through.
Well, that lets us see what you did a little more.
And it reminds, we can tell the difference between the biscuit and the domino because same results. The domino again has other stuff, and then they have a bigger tool, which does a size like this. And I use that tool to make doors and gates for customers. The first time I used it, it was a lot easier than I thought it was. I was kind of like going, oh, well, I'm done building this gate, which was kind of nice.
Now, I guess, yeah, that means you made more money that day.
Oh, the faster you can do something, yes, the more money you make. So, yeah, you know.
I guess that's the reason why to go from a spline to a biscuit to a domino, the speed increases the amount you can do in a day. Yeah,
and the domino and the biscuit are pretty much interchangeable. They have different applications, and the domino is just a little bit more refined in some areas where the biscuit is quicker in other areas. So what we have here is called pocket screws, and my system is Craig. I did it with a jig that I had for years. I had the first generation one. I now have their portable shop unit, which is called a Foreman, that has a 1/4-inch motor in it and is, again, faster and quicker, easier setup, and it doesn't tie up your drill, which this system ties up a drill with the bit. Now I've seen guys with my system and they've come up with using a pneumatic foot clamp on it in their shop and other things, so you can be creative and make more out of the system that I have. But nothing stops. The thing is, you do have to have a clamp to hold it into place. I've modified every one of my workbenches to have a space, and I have a special plate that if I'm on site that can sit on the floor, and then it'll hold it flat so I can get that to stay flush. So what I think I'm seeing here is that there's a screw going right through. Yes. So we used what would be, because this is oak that we used, I used the hardwood screw, which is a thin screw, and it has a flat head, a pan head on it, so a flat with a fake washer on it, so that it doesn't press and split the wood, and it catches. And the drill bit is a special drill bit that has a little thing that starts drilling for the screw. So the screw goes in, and then this goes and sits on the little flat piece left by the drill bit, and it goes in as such. And then if you're using soft wood, you would use one with a thicker thread. And what is number 10? Number 10 is going to be a dowel. I didn't have a jig to do a hidden dowel, so we just basically used a dowel joint, which we used this size dowel, 3/8-inch dowel, drilled in and tapped it into place with glue. And it's doing the same thing as the domino. Yeah, yeah, it's the same idea. It's kind of like a spline, biscuit, or domino, right? Yes, yeah, and I haven't used this for years, and I couldn't find my dowel jig so we could do a hidden dowel, but it does the exact same thing. Some dowel jigs are less money. Like when I started in university, I used it, and I had a little. I'm assuming I still have it. I can't find it, but a general dowel jig system, but the cost. $10 $10 back in the 80s, so a little bit more now. But you can buy $100 units, $200 units that are precision tools that will take on the lamello and the domino on the machine practicality that, you know, it's not, for me, it's not worth it.
We can get even more complicated than what we got going on here.
Oh, you can get more tools, and you can just, you can go out, you know, I mean, it's just, you can be as fancy as you want to be. And we're just trying to keep it simple so that a finished carpenter usually, especially a production finished carpenter, usually is the builder sitting there going, you know, can you do this in 2 weeks? And you've got to do everything from, you know, baseboard to making up some kind of coffered ceiling 20 feet in the air. I know you ask everybody at the end, what do you wish you knew when you started? I wish I knew when I started. Do not sell somebody hand-cut dovetails if they're not willing to pay for it, or if they don't have a clue what it is. And I can guarantee you that most homeowners are impressed with the domino or the biscuit, which I use most of. And I use the Craig system, the pocket screws, when I do face frames. I even did it 25 years ago with face frames, and some people kind of poo-pooed me because they were purist. And I went, but I can't make money if I make half-lap joints on my kitchens when I'm trying to do a face frame kitchen. And so you got to make money what you're doing, otherwise you're not.
Yeah, it's true. You're not going to be doing it very long if you're not making money at it.
No, or you're going to work too many hours, and you might as well be working at McDonald's.
That's right. So thanks, Dave. I've had a lot of fun going through all these different butt joints. Some of these I've done myself before in framing, and also just here in the Organized Chaos shop, but some of them I've never done myself before, so it's kind of cool learning a little bit more about them. If you're interested in the tools we use, we have them in the description below. If you're stopping by for the first time and haven't already and are interested, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you back in the shop soon.